Did you know that a noble son of Rome once vanished on his wedding night, leaving wealth behind forever, silently? He became a beggar in distant Edessa, then returned home so changed that even his parents could not recognize him. Hidden beneath their staircase, he offered loneliness to God until death revealed his secret. This is the story of Saint Alexius. Before beginning, drop an Amen in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more stories of the saints. Don't forget to share it so others may discover this story and be inspired to live holier lives. Chapter 1. The World of the Time and the Childhood of Saint Alexius of Rome. The story of Saint Alexius is placed by tradition in the 4th or 5th century, when Christianity had already come out from the shadow of the great persecutions. The Church could now breathe more freely within the Roman Empire, and Christians were able to profess their faith more openly. Yet the world was still marked by ambition, pride, and honor, and in that world, God was preparing a hidden saint. Rome remained one of the great symbols of earthly power. Its noble families guarded their names, their influence, and their place in society with great care. To be born into such a city meant living under many expectations. Wealth, marriage, public reputation, and family duty were often seen as signs of success. But in the silence of grace, another kind of greatness was beginning to appear. According to the Greek and Roman tradition, Alexius was born in Rome into a wealthy Christian family, possibly belonging to the upper or senatorial class. From the outside, his future seemed secure and honorable. He had the protection of a respected household and the advantages of noble birth. Yet God often plants his deepest calls in unexpected places, even in homes filled with comfort and privilege. Tradition remembers his parents as Euphemianus and Agla. They were people of high standing, yet they are also described as devout Christians with generous hearts. Their home was not only a place of wealth, but also a place where charity was practiced. Through them, young Alexius could learn that true Christian nobility is not found merely in status, but in mercy toward the poor. From childhood, Alexius was formed in the Christian faith. He learned to pray, to reverence God, and to see the poor not as a burden, but as brothers and sisters loved by Christ. While the world around him valued rank and honor, the gospel quietly taught him another way. In his young heart, seeds of humility, compassion, and sacrifice were being planted by grace. Although he lived surrounded by wealth, Alexius did not let riches become the master of his soul. His heart was drawn toward deeper things: humility, prayer, purity, and the desire to belong completely to God. He began to sense that earthly comfort could not satisfy the soul made for heaven. Beneath the beauty of noble life, a holy longing was awakening within him. Thus, the childhood of Saint Alexius already carried the great paradox of his life. He was born among the rich, yet God was leading him toward voluntary poverty. He was raised in a house of honor, yet grace was preparing him for hiddenness. Before the world knew his name, the Lord was shaping him into a witness that true freedom is found in surrender. Chapter 2. The Call to Renunciation Amid Noble Life. As Alexius grew into manhood, his family prepared him for a future worthy of their noble name. In Roman society, such a future was carefully shaped by honor, marriage, inheritance, and the duty to continue the family line. Everything around him seemed to point towards stability and public respect. Yet within this young man, God was quietly forming a desire that no earthly plan could fully satisfy. According to tradition, his parents arranged for him to marry a virtuous young woman, someone suitable for a respected Christian household in Rome. Such a marriage would have brought joy to the family and security to the future. It was not seen as a burden, but as an honorable path. To everyone around him, Alexius appeared ready to enter a life of dignity, responsibility, and domestic peace. But deep within his soul, another call was growing in silence. Alexius felt drawn to chastity, poverty, and a complete gift of himself to Christ. This desire did not arise from contempt for the world, but from love for the Lord. The more he looked upon the passing honors of life, the more his heart longed for the treasure that could never fade. It is important to understand this with the mind of the Church. Alexius did not despise marriage, for marriage is holy, blessed by God, and honored in Catholic faith as a sacred covenant. Rather, according to tradition, he discerned a particular vocation for himself. He sensed that Christ was inviting him to a different kind of love, one marked by renunciation, hiddenness, and total surrender. This created a deep struggle within him. Alexius loved his parents and knew the hopes they had placed upon him. He understood the pain his choice might cause and the confusion it would bring. Yet the voice of God in the heart can be gentle and powerful at the same time. He stood between filial obedience and a mysterious call that seemed to come from heaven itself. The wedding night became the great turning point of his life. Tradition tells that, after entrusting his bride to God with reverence and purity, Alexius quietly left his home. He departed without wealth, without public farewell, and without the honors that had surrounded him since childhood. Leaving behind house, possessions, family expectations, and social rank, he chose the poor road for the love of Christ. This decision was not an act of rebellion, nor a desire to wound those who loved him. It was a renunciation born in the depths of the soul. Alexius was not running away from responsibility to seek ease, but walking toward a harder freedom. He wanted to belong completely to God. In that hidden departure, the noble son of Rome began becoming the beggar of Christ. Chapter 3. The unknown beggar in Edessa. After leaving Rome, Alexius journeyed toward the east, far from the noble house that had once sheltered him. According to tradition, he came to Edessa, an important Christian center in Syria, or Mesopotamia. There, among churches, pilgrims, merchants, and the poor, he began a hidden life. No one saw a Roman nobleman arriving. God alone knew the sacrifice that had brought him to this distant place. In Edessa, Alexius did not live as an exile waiting to reclaim his former rank. He chose instead the appearance and condition of a poor beggar. The hands that might have held wealth were stretched out for alms. The young man who had been prepared for honor accepted humiliation. In this way, he placed himself close to Christ, who became poor for our sake. Tradition tells that Alexius stayed near a church dedicated to the Blessed Virgin Mary. There, he asked for alms simply to survive, accepting hunger, cold, and the low place given to beggars in society. People passed him by without knowing his story. Yet beneath the torn clothing and quiet suffering, a soul was learning to pray with Mary, trusting that God sees what the world overlooks. What Alexius received, he did not keep only for himself. Even in poverty, he remained generous. If someone poorer or weaker came near, he shared what little had been placed in his hands. His begging did not close his heart, but opened it wider. In this, Alexius showed that Christian charity is not measured by abundance, but by love willing to give, even from need. According to tradition, the servants of his own family were sent out to search for him. In God's mysterious providence, they came to Edessa and even encountered the poor beggar near the church. They gave him alms, but did not recognize their master. Alexius accepted their charity in silence. The one they sought stood before them, hidden beneath poverty, humility, and the will of God. In this unknown life, Alexius practiced prayer, fasting, self-denial, humility, and complete trust in the Lord. He asked for no praise, offered no explanation, and sought no witness to his sacrifice. His holiness grew in secrecy, like a flame sheltered from the wind. For him, it was enough that Christ knew his heart, his struggle, his tears, and his desire to belong wholly to God. Thus, Edessa became the spiritual school of Alexius. There he learned to live as one of Christ's poor, stripped of name, comfort, and recognition. The city that received him as a beggar became the place where his soul was purified. He desired only to be known by God. In that hidden poverty, Alexius discovered a freedom greater than all the privileges he had left behind. Chapter 4. The Man of God and the Flight from Fame. Tradition tells that the hidden holiness of Alexius could not remain unseen forever. Though he had tried to disappear among the poor of Edessa, God sometimes reveals what a humble soul tries to conceal. The man whom people had passed each day as an ordinary beggar was carrying within him a deep life of prayer. His poverty was not empty misery, but a secret offering of love. According to the ancient story, an icon of the Blessed Virgin Mary made known who Alexius truly was. The Mother of God, who always leads souls to her Son, was said to have pointed him out as the Man of God. From that moment, the people of Edessa began to look at the poor beggar differently. They sensed that holiness had been living quietly among them. That title, the Man of God, became forever linked with Alexius. It expressed more than admiration. It revealed the direction of his whole life. He did not belong to worldly glory, family pride, or public honor. He belonged to God. His identity was no longer built on birth, wealth, or reputation, but on a hidden surrender that made his soul entirely the Lord's. Suddenly, the unknown beggar became known. People who once overlooked him now approached him with respect. Some sought his prayers, others admired his poverty, and many began to see him as a holy man. Yet for Alexius, this change was dangerous. The silence he had embraced was being broken. The hidden road he had chosen was beginning to shine before the eyes of others. Alexius feared not hunger, cold, or humiliation, but the subtle temptation of praise. He knew that even holy things can become occasions for pride when the heart begins to enjoy being admired. He did not want his penance to become a display or his poverty to become a source of honor. His only desire was that Christ, not Alexius, should be glorified. So, once again, Alexius chose to disappear. Quietly, he left Edessa, turning away from the honor that had come upon him without his seeking. He carried no treasure, claimed no disciples, and accepted no public role. The road of hiddenness called him onward. By leaving, he protected the humility that had become the shelter of his soul and the secret of his holiness. This chapter reveals a deep mark of Alexius's spirituality. Holiness is not first about being seen, praised, or remembered by others. It is about allowing God to possess the whole heart. Alexius teaches that the soul closest to God may sometimes be the one most hidden from human applause. In fleeing fame, he showed that true sanctity seeks only the face of the Lord. Chapter 5. Returning to Rome beneath the staircase. After long years of wandering, Alexius returned to Rome, the city he had once left as a beloved son of a noble house. He came back not in triumph, not with servants, and not with the dignity expected of his birth. Tradition presents this return as one of the most moving moments of his life. The place of his childhood became the place where his hidden sacrifice would deepen. By then, his body and appearance had changed greatly. Poverty, travel, fasting, and years of hardship had marked his face and weakened his frame. He no longer looked like the young nobleman his family remembered. Even those who had lived near him would have seen only a worn beggar. His parents, who had searched and suffered for their lost son, did not recognize him. According to tradition, Alexius came to the house of his father and asked for shelter as a poor stranger. He did not reveal his name, his history, or the wound hidden in his heart. Standing before the door of his own home, he chose silence. The son returned, but as one unknown. He asked only for a place among the lowly, not the rights of a child. Because of Christian charity, the household of Euphemianus received the poor man. They did not know that the beggar before them was Alexius, the son for whom they had grieved. Yet their act of mercy opened the door to God's mysterious plan. In welcoming a stranger, they unknowingly welcomed their own child. In serving a beggar, they were drawn close to a hidden saint. Alexius was given a small, dark place beneath the staircase. There he lived quietly, poor and unnoticed, treated as an outsider in the very house where he had once belonged. The sounds of family life passed above and around him, while he remained below, hidden from recognition. That narrow place became his cell, his chapel, and his offering, where humility was practiced day after day. His suffering became especially deep because he was near those he loved, yet remained unknown to them. He saw the home of his youth, perhaps heard familiar voices, and lived close to his parents without receiving their embrace. This was not ordinary poverty. It was a poverty of name, affection, and recognition. Still, Alexius accepted it in faith, offering even this loneliness to Christ. His return to Rome was not a return to claim inheritance, honor, or family position. It was the final deepening of his self-emptying. In the very house that once symbolized noble dignity, Alexius chose the lowest place. Beneath the staircase, he completed the path begun on his wedding night. The son of privilege became a hidden servant, seeking no glory except the will of God. Chapter 6. The Holy Death of a Saint. According to tradition, Alexius lived for many years beneath the staircase in his father's house, often said to be 17 years. Day after day, he remained in that narrow and hidden place, close to the family who had lost him, yet unknown to them. Time passed quietly over his sacrifice. What the world might have called failure, heaven saw as a long act of faithful love. There, Alexius bore hardship in silence. He endured want, cold, loneliness, misunderstanding, and the small humiliations that come when a person is treated as unimportant. Yet tradition remembers him without bitterness. He did not answer contempt with anger, nor neglect with resentment. His patience became a hidden prayer. In the darkness beneath the stairs, he allowed suffering to purify his heart before God. His poverty was not only the lack of food, comfort, or shelter. It was also the deeper poverty of being unrecognized by those he loved. To live near his parents and remain unknown was a wound few hearts could bear. Yet Alexius accepted even this pain for the love of Christ. He chose to be forgotten by men, trusting that he was never forgotten by God. During those hidden years, tradition says that Alexius continued to pray, do penance, and even teach catechism to children. Though he owned nothing, he still gave what he had: faith, patience, and the witness of a soul surrendered to God. His small corner beneath the staircase became a quiet place of grace. Without sermons or fame, he helped others draw nearer to the Lord. When Alexius understood that his final hour was approaching, he prepared for death with the same humility that had marked his life. Tradition tells that he wrote down the truth of who he was and the journey he had taken since leaving his noble home. He did not write to accuse or condemn, but to reveal how God had led him along the hidden road of renunciation. After Alexius died, the truth was finally uncovered. A written note was found upon his body, revealing that the poor beggar beneath the staircase was none other than Alexius, the long-lost son of the house. The family's grief turned into astonishment and sorrow. The one they had sheltered as a stranger had been their own beloved child, hidden before their eyes for years. His death became the moment when God revealed what had been concealed. A life that seemed lowly, useless, and forgotten was shown to be precious in the sight of heaven. Alexius had lived without honor, so that God alone would be his reward. In his holy death, The beggar beneath the stairs was recognized as a saint, and silence became a testimony of love. Chapter 7. Veneration and Spiritual Legacy. After the story of Alexius became known, the image of the man of God deeply touched Christian devotion. People saw in him a soul that had given up everything, not to be praised, but to belong completely to Christ. His hidden life spoke to those who longed for humility, penance, and purity of heart. The beggar beneath the stairs became a powerful sign of holiness. Historically, devotion to Saint Alexius appears to have come first from the Christian East. The memory of a holy beggar in Edessa was later connected with Rome and gradually spread through the West, especially from the end of the 10th century. This journey of devotion shows how the Church preserves holy examples across cultures, languages, and lands, even when their stories are wrapped in ancient tradition. In Rome, the church on the Aventine Hill, first associated with Saint Boniface, later became known as Santi Bonifacio e Alessio. This sacred place was linked with the tradition of Alexius and helped root his memory in the heart of the city. Pilgrims who came there did not simply remember an old legend. They encountered a call to humility, mercy, and hidden fidelity. In the West, Saint Alexius is honored on July 17th, while in the Eastern tradition, he is remembered on March 17th. These two dates show how widely his witness was received among Christians of different traditions. Whether called Alexius of Rome or Alexius of Edessa, he remained a figure of deep spiritual attraction, a saint whose hidden poverty crossed the boundaries between East and West. The Catholic Church continues to recognize Saint Alexius as a saint, even though his feast is no longer included in the general Roman calendar after the liturgical reform, because the written account of his life is largely legendary. This does not erase his place in Christian memory. Rather, it invites the faithful to receive his story with reverence, discernment, and attention to its spiritual meaning. His legacy also lives in art, literature, and religious life. Artists often show him as a poor man beneath a staircase, holding a ladder, or lying hidden in humility. Writers and poets retold his life across Europe, and religious communities remembered him as a patron of the poor and the sick. The title Man of God became the simplest summary of his soul. The spiritual message of Saint Alexius remains clear and gentle. He invites Christians to love humility, care for the poor, renounce empty glory, and trust that God sees every hidden sacrifice. His life reminds us that holiness is not always loud or visible. Sometimes it is found in silence, in the lowest place, where a soul gives everything to Christ and asks only to be known by him. Chapter 8. Prayer to Saint Alexius of Rome. Saint Alexius, man of God, pray for us that we may seek the Lord above riches, honor, and the passing praise of the world. Teach our hearts to desire what lasts forever, not what fades with time. Help us choose Christ as our true treasure, even when the world offers comfort and admiration. Teach us to listen for the voice of God in silence, especially when his call leads us toward renunciation and sacrifice. When we are afraid to let go, strengthen our trust. When we do not understand the path before us, help us follow with faith, believing that the Lord never abandons those who seek him. Help us understand that holiness is not found in outward appearance, admiration, or human success, but in a hidden heart that loves God faithfully. May we not seek to be praised for our goodness. Instead, may our daily sacrifices, quiet prayers, and unseen acts of love become a humble offering pleasing to the Lord. Pray for the poor, the beggars, the homeless, the travelers, the forgotten, and all those whose dignity is not recognized by society. May they be seen, loved, and protected. Open our eyes to Christ present in them and move our hearts to serve with tenderness, respect, and true Christian charity. Comfort those who feel lonely within their own families, those who suffer silently without being understood, heard, or embraced. Saint Alexius, you knew the pain of being near loved ones yet remaining hidden. Pray that their hearts may be strengthened, their tears may be seen by God, and their suffering may become a path to grace. Help families recognize Christ in the little ones, the poor, the weak, and the overlooked who stand at their doors. Teach us not to judge by appearance, status, or usefulness. May every Christian home become a place of mercy, welcome, and compassion, where no suffering person is treated as a stranger. Saint Alexius, pray that we may become true people of God, humble in spirit, generous in charity, faithful in trials, hidden from vanity, and wholly surrendered to the Lord until the end. May our lives, whether noticed or forgotten by others, belong entirely to Christ, who sees every secret sacrifice. Amen.